enormous amount of enthusiasm, and that our grassroots campaign, which is calling for a political revolution, is striking a chord all over America. My friends, the Republican Party did not win the midterm election in November. We
site is even nicer than the one that the Sanders campaign has produced itself. Joining us now, the founder of FeelTheBern.org, Daniela Perdomo. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
What did you think of what Bernie just said?
I think it was a perfect lead-in to talk about how excited we are about his candidacy. You know, we are just unpaid volunteers who got together and decided that this, he's running an issues-based campaign, but unfortunately, most of the media and most voters are not talking about the issues. They're talking about what people are saying they're going to do. And Bernie Sanders has a 50-year history, public history as an activist and then as a politician, where he's been very clear about where he stands on every issue, whether it's affordable housing, immigration, guns, and we wanted to make it really clear to anyone who was curious about him.
You wanted to make it clear. Your site has a really nice interface. It feels like something that's very now or current or Silicon Valley. Not all of Bernie's material looks like that, and some have said it's hard to figure out where he is on civil rights or certain issues. Did you basically step up here because you have the person power, but he didn't necessarily have the tech inside the campaign? I
think that, they're running a really smart, lean campaign from what I can tell. We're not officially associated with them. We're just volunteers. But, I was hanging out a lot on Reddit, for better or worse, speaking to a tremendous amount of people who are really excited about his policies and where he stands on important issues that America is facing today. And it was all disorganized, and I thought we should just organize it and make it really easy for you to both find through search, but also to understand. And so we actually, the entire site is built almost in an FAQ format. So if you're interested in Social Security, we'll explain to you what Social Security is, what the state of it is right now, before we dive into his policies, because it's really, we really believe that you empower people with information, not opinions. And so we ended up writing 51 issue pages that includes over 2,000 links, so you can find out more, and over 100,000 words about where he stands on the issue.
It's a book on Bernie.
A PhD dissertation.
Let me ask you this, though. A lot of folks in Washington and in the media, they look at the enthusiasm for Bernie Sanders and they say that opens up space for other alternative candidates. That opens up space for Biden. They read this Bernie-mentum, as you call it, or the enthusiasm for Bernie Sanders in the polls, in the contributions. We just heard him live saying he's got 400,000 donors. They read it as dissatisfaction with Hillary Clinton. Is that right?
I'm not sure. I am just really pro-Bernie. I'm not anti-anyone else. I'm more just pro his record, his consistency, and I think that really resonates with people beyond the Democratic Party. And I think his support is not really just about Democrats. The support is not even bipartisan. It's nonpartisan. I am a registered independent. Most of the over 125 volunteers who worked with me on this project don't really identify one way or the other, and we have a lot of people who have identified Republican even. And the thing is, he's talking about issues that matter to everyone. Everyone cares about income and wealth inequality. Everyone cares about what we're doing in our foreign policy, and everyone wants education and healthcare to be accessible to everyone.
So, yeah, Daniela, you're saying you're a registered independent, but you were moved to work with people on this site for Bernie Sanders.
Right.
What does it say that Bernie Sanders, who is also a registered independent, running for a party nomination that he's not actually formally in, and Donald Trump, who wasn't in the Republican Party by his own estimation until recently, what does it say that these are some of the candidacies that are at least generating excitement right now?
I think it speaks to the dissatisfaction with the two-party system and the establishment candidates, perhaps. And, I think that while I don't really follow Donald Trump that much, I do believe...
Why not?
I'm really focused on writing this website and getting the word out on Bernie Sanders, but I do believe that these are two candidates who people see as honest and not beholden to moneyed interests, so they can be very clear about where they stand. And I would just say that I think our candidate is the most clear because he has the longest record.
And do you think people care about that independence? Because, by which I mean financial independence. Because Donald Trump, who was initially dismissed, and people thought, oh, well, you're a billionaire, that might hurt you in some way. And we know there's populism that sometimes turns against rich elites. He has managed to make that a central rallying cry. Indeed, our reporters were saying yesterday one of the loudest cheers he got in South Carolina was for turning down the $5 million. Bernie's making that part of his pitch as well. But do people care, do you think, at the grassroots level about that? How a campaign is funded?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I think actually I was looking at polls to just try to get a sense for like what Americans care about. And we included all of those on our website. I could be a policy advisor at this point. But one of the things that people care about across the board is the influence of money in politics. I believe it's something like on average it's 84% of Americans think there's too much, money has too much of an influence in politics, and it's, I think, about 90% among declared Democrats and 80% among declared Republicans. So a lot of people care about that, yes.
Daniela Perdomo from Feel the Burn, thanks for your time.
Thank you for having me.